Hey guys, and welcome to the introductory session for Career Sharp. I'm so happy you could make it. Whatever link that you clicked, whatever advert that you responded to, you made a great decision, guys. It's going to be great. Stick with it. First of all, I'd like to get you guys to introduce yourself. Let's see who we've got on the call. Let's get to know each other. So I think there should be a section in this screen where you can write a comment. So please write a comment, let us know who you are before we continue. So get typing. Okay, so some general housekeeping. You would notice that in this session, in this meeting, there's a couple of people that I refer to as facilitators. So the facilitator's role is to kind of be your personal guide, your personal coach, motivator throughout this program. They're going to be online and available to answer any questions. And for those of you who progress, further on our program, they'll be with you. They'll be going through your CV. They'll be going through helping you with the coursework and the project that some of you are going to take on towards the end of this program. So I would like our facilitators, please, just say hi, send us a virtual wave. Drop a comment and let everybody know who you are. Let's be one big happy family and let's all get to know each other. So hi facilitators. Okay, so in general the format of these sessions are going to be quite interactive. I've packaged it in a way where the content, I'm hoping it would hopefully jump out to life, and it will be relatable. You'll be able to understand it, you'll be able to grasp it and remember it, and definitely make sense of it. But if you do have questions, I would encourage you to kind of save your questions to the end, and then we'll respond to those questions at that time. But if you have a burning question that you just want to get off your chest and it just can't wait, type the comment, put it in the comment section. I'll make a note of it. The facilitators will make a note for it. I will make sure that we pick it up towards the end and we'll address it then. Okay, so notes and handouts. I think you would have received an email by now. Please refer to that email, get the notes for today's session, and use it as a reference as I'm going through the topics. So it kind of all links together and it all makes sense. Whichever way that you like to study best, whether it's whether it's writing or whatnot, just write notes, do your thing and make it work for you. But most of all, have fun, guys. Okay, so who am I? My name is Balaji Olatoy. I am a project manager. I've worked in project management, business analysis, and I've been in that industry for over 10 years now. Primarily in the financial sector, so that's investment banks, investment managers, hedge funds, all that kind of thing. And I've worked for multiple organizations, multiple locations, multiple different teams, multiple project structures, nationally, internationally, different methodologies. So I've kind of seen it from so many angles. And the reason that I put the Career Sharp program together is, number one, I believe this is, we're in a time where, the skill set required of a business analyst or a project manager or similar type of project role are in high demand, and, it's high paying. So if you're at a point where, you're looking for a career to really sink your teeth into, and you haven't really found it yet, you're in the right place. This could be a really good thing for you. So stick with it and, let's see how we go. So today's topic. So this is kind of like a foundational aspect that I believe is really pivotal for any type of thing, not necessarily career, any feat, whether it's business, career, on anything that you're doing really, anything that you would define as being successful. It all starts with mindset. Now I want to pause for a second and get your thoughts. So from a career perspective, do you think mindset is important? And if so, why? So let's take about 30 seconds and just write some comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'd like to get a feel for, what you guys are thinking. So is mindset important and why? Okay. Good thoughts. I mean, my personal opinion is, yeah, mindset is definitely important, and I'll tell you why. So, maybe one more question or a couple more questions. What do you think it takes to be successful in your career? Why are some people more successful than others? And then, more importantly, what's the difference between those people and you? Have a think about that. Because these are questions that I asked myself, towards the early years of my career. It used to kind of baffle me, like, I'm good, I'm better than, some others. Why are these people doing well, and why am I not perhaps doing as well, I did some research, some soul searching, and did all of that kind of stuff. But I came across a book, and it was called The Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. Now, if you haven't already read that book, I would really encourage you to read it. Now, I'm going to summarize kind of very quickly what that book was about. If you want to kind of read more into it, you feel free to go and buy that book. I'm not getting any commission. I just think it's a really good book. So yeah, cool. But yeah, he was doing a study on what it takes to be successful, and he did some interviews, he did research, and he came up with a number of findings. Some of them were to do with environment, some of them were to do with upbringing, some of them were to do with socio-economic status. There were a number of factors, but there was a key thing that stood out to me. And he found out that many successful people are not always born with skill, knowledge, or experience, but rather they've trained towards it. Yeah, and the examples that he gave shows that on average, successful people put in around 10,000 hours of practice. So I want that to kind of like sink in for a second. 10,000 hours, like 10,000 hours is a really long time, right? So, these are perhaps the examples of people. They were like musicians, they were sports people. They were putting in work on a regular and consistent basis. But I think the thing that stood out for me is, at the beginning of that 10,000 hours, they were not experts. At the end of that 10,000 hours, they were. So for me, it's like, okay, what is the thing that caused them to keep putting in the work for the span of 10,000 hours? Because that's a really, really, really long time. We're talking years, right? Now, if you kind of have a think about that, you will see that where you are now, you might not necessarily be where you want to be. You might not necessarily have the skills or the knowledge or experience that you think you need, but you kind of have to start somewhere, and you have to start with the decision and the desire to get there and to put in whatever work that it will take. And I think for me, that's the difference between anybody who is successful and who is not. Regardless of whether you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, whether you have a handout, whatever it is, I think ultimately, it's about how much you want it and how much work you're really willing to put in. So yeah, the difference between successful and not is whether you're willing to consistently put in the work. And I put in the word consistently because, you have to be willing to do what it takes, put in the effort, even when it seems like it's not yielding a result or the benefits. But just knowing that if I'm doing the right things regularly and consistently, it will get there. And that's what it is with any career, to be honest with you. Any type of successful feat. Yeah. So let's take a pause for a second. Let's let that sink in. Any thoughts, any opinions on that? Because this is a really key thing that I want you guys to grasp. It's going to be kind of like an underpinning theme throughout the whole program. So it's really important that you get it. So yeah, what do you think? Make sense? No? Okay, so now I'm going to move on to, some more things. So, when I was looking at my personal journey and, journey of others who were on a similar type of path, you have to ask yourself, if there is something that you need to do to achieve success, and it's just that something that you need to do, whether it's consistently over a long time, but you just need to do that thing, and you will get there. Why would you not do it? Because if it's kind of like A plus B equals C, why am I not going to do those maths? Why am I not going to put that work in? And I think definitely from a personal point of view, and I think for others as well, and you might relate to this. I think sometimes it boils down to confidence and self-image, right? So confidence, self-image, and when I say confidence, I mean a lack of confidence, a poor self-image, and also a lack of validation. Yeah, and by validation I mean sometimes you kind of we get into this kind of trap where we are really influenced by what outside people say to us and about us, and it's not anything that we can control. You can't control what people say about you, but I think you can control how you react and how you respond, and how you let it affect you, because it's really important. I remember in really having to transition from believing that perhaps I may not have been good enough, or maybe I don't deserve a particular level of success, so let me just stay here and kind of stay in my place, to transition into a mindset of actually no, I do deserve success. I am good enough. I am good as the next, better than the next maybe, and every good thing that is out there, I deserve to have it. And this is the kind of like an underpinning sort of factor that pushes me to now believe that I can take these steps to achieve success. What I also found in my research is, a lot of the people that we regard as, successful in industry, in sport, in media, their journeys were not, rosy from the beginning. Like, they've gone through some things. So I'm going to kind of read out some captions of some people that are hugely successful, but if you read these captions about their true stories, you'll be shocked. Unless you know the story already. Don't spoil it for those who don't. But here's the first one. So this person, after being cut from his high school basketball team, he went home, locked himself in his room, and cried. So this is somebody, he probably wasn't good enough at basketball. Maybe the guys on the team were better than him. Maybe they were, they could have been calling him names. They could have, the coach might have said, you're not good enough, take a seat, and that's going to kind of affect your confidence, because you're not getting the validation, or whatever. And it's kind of affecting you. You went home and cried, so who do you think this guy is? I've just given a clue, it's a guy. All right, so this guy is Michael Jordan. Yeah, so this is, now he's one of the most successful basketball players of all time. Some people regard him as the greatest of all time, but that was his beginning part. But I guess the point is, at some point, he made a decision to steer away from the negative opinions and thoughts that were, being said towards him, and do something about it. So it wasn't magic. He basically took all of that in, and he put the work in consistently, and now look at him, doing really well. Okay, so The next one. This lady was demoted from her job as a news anchor because she wasn't